Hello, 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 and good day. Won't He Do It connection? Won't He do it? We are back again for another dose of good news. This week, our focus is on encouragement and why we should use it and not take it lightly when others offer us encouragement. Most of us have experienced some sort of anxiety or adverse circumstances, right? That have either been dramatic and in some cases traumatic. And we all know when people have gone through a traumatic situation or, dramatic type of events happening, they can really be depressed. They can be down in the dumps, and it takes someone that's a true believer to encourage them and to bring them back to the fold. Let them know that they're not alone. We've all experienced serious illnesses, or know someone that's experienced a serious illness. Death sometimes comes about and can really throw us in a tailspin. We've just experienced failure in general, and sometimes financial disaster. These are all things, just examples of things that can send people into a tailspin. But encouraging people, not only when things are going well and just telling them like, hey, I'm so proud of you for what you're doing, continue the good work, but also when folks are in the dumps. When they're in the dumps, they don't know which way to turn. They don't know up from down. Have a word for them. If you're a godly person, God has sent you to be a blessing to someone. You should do it. You should bless them with your words of encouragement. Nonetheless, God assures us of His love, right? So no matter what we go through or how deep of a hole we might find ourselves in, if we are true believers, we know that God loves us and God will deliver us from whatever we encounter. Many things can cause us anxiety and cause us to lose sight of God's love. But God will ease our burdens if we lean on Him. And that's one of the things that we really have to learn. The saying always goes, your arms are too short to box with God. You know what I mean? So you have to turn it over to Him and, let Him handle it. Let Him show you the path. Let Him show you the way. Let Him make your roads straight again. We sometimes muddy the waters a little bit because we get in God's way. God is trying to do His work. You have to step aside and let Him do it. I know a lot of times we try to step in. We gonna make it right. We gonna get somebody told. We gonna let them know. Everybody know how we've been wronged. Sometimes it's just best to get out of the way. Mama used to always tell me, when you're in the dumps, when you don't know which way to turn, she would say, well, have you tried Jesus for yourself? And I promise you, I have, because no matter where we are in life, we all go through trials and tribulations, right? We all go through it. You're not going through anything that someone else hasn't gone through at some point in time. And if they still living here on this earth, they somehow got through it. It's not somehow. They got through it through the help of God. And you can too. You just have to lean on Him and believe and let Him handle it. When you know that there's no other way out but Jesus, that's all you can do, right? When you done hit rock bottom and there's nowhere else to turn. And a lot of times we try everything in the world except turning it over to God. And a lot of times we don't make our recovery, or we don't rebound from the situation that we're in until we hit rock bottom. When you got nowhere else to turn, no other favors to call in, no other scheme you can come up with when you are at your absolute lowest. A lot of times that's when the Lord steps up. That's when the Lord shows up, because he wants us to depend on him. You cannot do it by yourself, and don't feel or think that you can do it all by yourself. God is our way. And when you lean on him, you put it in his hands, you start to make your recovery. Got only a couple of verses for you today, and I'm going to start with Psalms 46, verses 1 through 2. God is our refuge and strength, and ever-present help in trouble. Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. As I always say, we are not afraid. And what does it say in the verse? Therefore, we will not fear, though the earth give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea. That just tells you, I don't care what's going on around you. If you are a true believer, if you really believe in God's word and that he is your ever-present help in trouble, then I don't care what's going on around you. I know in my heart that God is going to see me through. I'm going to find a way to the other side of this, if it be the Lord's will. And you should have that same frame of reference whenever you're going through, whenever you're down. If you're a true believer and you've turned it over to the Lord, then you have to trust that he's going to do it for you. There will come a day when you're going to need to encourage someone, and we need to be ready for when that day comes. And I'll tell you something else. There's going to be a day that comes where somebody's going to have to encourage you. So let's be prepared. Let's do what we need to do to be ready when we need to stand in the gap for someone else. Won't he do it? Yes, he will. Why don't you guys come on and walk with me this week, and we're going to talk about encouragement. God bless. Hello. Happy day. We're back at it again. People. Spring has sprung. Sky is blue. Trees have leaves. The grass is turning green. There's a lot of spring work to do. Glad to be able to chat with you once again. As I mentioned in my introduction, today we're going to be talking about encouragement, man. And I'm happy to be able to talk to you about it. We are continuing following the path, and we started with partnership, companionship, friendship, and now we're moving on to encouragement. So what is encouragement? It's the action of giving somebody support, being supportive, and just helping them through with a kind word, and being there as their counsel. People sometimes are down and they need encouragement from those folks that they hold in high regard. The thing I've noticed, though, or I've come to find, is that you can get encouragement from anybody. Don't have to be someone that you know. I got encouragement one time from a bum. I won't call him a bum, but a person that was just asking me for some money. You know what I mean? And I wasn't down or anything, but I had a couple of loose dollars in my pocket, and I saw him coming before he got to me, and I gave it to him. I gave him $3 or $4 or whatever it was, and he was like, "Hey, man, I wasn't always like this, and everybody needs a little bit of help every now and again." Like, people can be on top of the world one day, and the next day, they could lose it all. And I thank you for being kind, and the Lord's gonna bless you real good. And I wasn't expecting to get that. I was not expecting to get that from that individual, because most times what they do is they just take what you got and they go on about their business. Sometimes they say thank you. Sometimes they may not say anything. But the fact that he gave me his little bit of a testimony and then went on to tell me that you're going to be blessed, it touched me in that moment. So let's just let that be a lesson to you. You know, you can get encouragement from a lot of different places. And, you know, sometimes the lessons in life start when we're very young. And many of us are fortunate to have our parents with us when we're very, very young. Sometimes we come from single parent homes, and that's okay too. We can come from a single parent home. As long as you got love in the place, whether it's mama, grandmama, cousins, aunties, uncles, brother, sister, whatever the case may be. You know, we all come from God. We all God's children. But for me, you know, and I'm sure a lot of you, that encouragement starts when we're young, man, which is why it's so important that we be active in the lives of our own children. You know, when we were young, it would often start off with, hey, you got to be strong. You know, you fall and hurt yourself, skin your knee, start crying, and your dad or your mom or whoever's like, hey, get up, don't cry. You got to be strong. You're a strong young man. You're a tough young man. Get up. Don't let that hurt you. How many times we went to the doctor and you be scared about that shot, but you remember the encouragement you got all along the way before you got up to that point, right? Like, hey, you got to be strong. You got to be courageous. You're a strong young man. Don't let that hurt you. Don't cry. Or if it was your daddy, he'd be like, you better not cry. Because your daddy done been through some things, right? Still encouragement, but our fathers had a different way of communicating. It was from a position of strength. And mothers their communication was from a position of strength as well. But they also threw in a whole lot of nurturing from a position of nurturing and strength, where fathers are more from a position of brute strength. You're gonna be tough. I ain't gonna have no boy around here crying and all this and that. You're gonna toughen up. But in any case, man, encouragement is needed, brother. You know, either you're gonna be an encouragement to somebody. You can operate in two schools of thought: encouragement or discouragement. And you know, I'm one that believes in encouragement, and I hope that all of you do too. But you are going to have a school of folks out there that operate in discouragement, and sometimes it's not the fault of their own. You know, it's just the environment that they've been brought up in. A lot of times in negative environments, that's what you get. You know what I mean? You haven't had a win in your life. Everything's been negative. What you heard from your parents is negative. You've been around negative people all your life. You know, when you haven't tasted victory, it's easy to be in the camp of discouragement. On the encouragement front, you might have had some losses. In fact, I know you've had some losses, but because you've had that training, because you've had that experience of being around people that encourage you, you still have hope. You never give up. You always look at the silver lining in things because you've been encouraged before, or you've come up short, you dust yourself off, and you won. You had some success. So because you've been encouraged, somebody's got a kind word for you, and you just tell me, what camp would you rather be in? You know, someone that's telling you, hey man, things gonna be all right. Hey brother, don't give up on the fight, man. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing. You know, it'll pay off for you in the end. Or would you rather be around someone that's like, man, you must be a fool. I wouldn't be spending my time doing that. You know they ain't gonna let you in that. You know they ain't gonna hire you. You know you ain't gonna be accepted. You're just wasting your energy. You're just wasting time and money. And it's like, if you got somewhere to be, you got a destination you're trying to reach, you might want to surround yourself with positive people, because negative people will bring you down. Negative people will recruit you to be on their team, because what they say, man, these old sayings always come back. Misery love company. If they broke, busted, and disgusted, they want you to be broke, busted, and disgusted too. Now, if you've been a winner all your life, you've been a winner all your life. Oh, it's like killing a 10-point buck. You know, catching a 10-pound bass. If they can recruit you, someone that's been a winner all their life, and now they done caught you at your lowest moment, and those are the people you chose to be around. Now they done recruited you where you done lost hope. You sitting over there with them. You singing the song, woe is me. Yeah, they cheated me. They this, they that. And now you over there with them. And it's like, why? Why? Be around folks that can help you get to where you need to be, man. You know what I'm saying? We understand we all God's children. We're going to have some setbacks. We're going to have some setbacks. And it's at that moment, you have to still be a believer, right? Because we never stop believing. And if he did it once, he'll do it again. This just wasn't for you. Whatever quest this was at this moment, it wasn't for you today. Not saying it won't be for you going forward, but it just wasn't for you today. And you can't give up. I'm reminded of a conversation that I just happened to be passing through, and I heard two ministers talking, and the one minister was just, kind of talking about, different initiatives and things that they had going on. It wasn't quite getting the results that they wanted, and they were kind of thinking about making some changes. And the one minister said, hey, whatever you start, don't ever quit. Like, if you started it in good faith, and then you continue to work with it, and God will bless it. Don't ever give up. That was a wonderful example of encouragement. You know what I mean? And you may go on ahead to do whatever you're gonna do, but just to have somebody there and in that moment, you know what I'm saying? To have one there in that moment to do that for you, to speak up for you, to have a kind word, to have something to share that's positive and to move you forward. It's such a wonderful thing, man. It's such a wonderful thing. Like I've mentioned a number of different times, the Lord always sends somebody at the right moment, at the right time to give you the word. But we have to do our part to be in position to receive it. Now, if you're somewhere you don't need to be, you are, I'll just say you somewhere where you don't need to be, and you're going to probably be around people that may not be true believers. You know what I'm saying? And at the moment you need it most, you may not have anybody there to give you the word that you need. So it's always good to make sure you're doing the right thing. Make sure you stay in the right environment. You know, if you're a true believer, do the right things. Do those things that are good. Stay in the word. Don't get discouraged. And if you feel yourself getting discouraged, you need to find some encouragement. You know, pull out your Bible, read a verse, all of that good stuff. You know what I mean? And it'll see you through. That's the most important thing. I'm so thankful that all of these things are connected, man. Partnership, companionship, friendship, encouragement. You know, it's so many things that we take for granted that if we just dig into them a little bit, it'll really bless our soul, man. It will really bless our soul. And I'm not telling a lot of you things that you don't know already, but we're so guilty of putting all our tools on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? I know I ain't the only one. We'll put our tool on the shelf, and sometimes we can't even find it. I ain't gonna tell you, and this is sometimes trifling, right? You might need a tool to do a little task around the house, and you didn't put it back where it was supposed to be. Now you can't find it, but you need it to do what you need to do. You gotta go buy another one. Now you got 2 or 3, 4 of the same thing. You know what I mean? When all you got to do is keep your stuff in order. That's all you got to do with your life. Keep your life in order. When you start seeing things getting in a disarray, and we all human, we all flesh and blood. We not perfect, none perfect but the Lord. How many times I said that? But when you see things getting in disarray, you got to get it back in order before you go down the wrong path. You got to get back on the right path. You know what I'm saying? You got to recognize first and foremost, like, I ain't got no business doing this. You know what I mean? I must have been hanging around the wrong crowd. I'm spending company with the wrong people. Let me separate myself from this. Let me pull my scripture back out. Let me start doing more in the church. Let me start doing more in the community. We're talking about encouragement. Sometimes the encourager needs encouraging. You know what I mean? And that's why you have to be around those people that love you, because they don't mind telling you, hey man, if I love you and I see you are messing up, I feel inspired to be able to say, hey man, let me have a word with you. You know, what are you trying to do here? What are you trying to accomplish? You know what I'm saying? I noticed this or I noticed that, and you know, it's fine. If you want to tell me to mind my business, I'll do that. But as your friend, I just want to say X, Y, and Z. And you as my friend, I want you to feel empowered. If you see me doing something that I ain't got no business doing, tell me, man. Because we need that in our life. Our society is really, it's gone. I ain't gonna say it's gone bad, but it ain't as good as it once was. Because everybody is trying to, I guess, mind their own business. Nobody's speaking up. Nobody's speaking up for God. Nobody is speaking up for what is right. You know, they just feel like if it's not impacting them, they ain't worried about it. But that's a lie. If you're keeping your mouth closed about things that are wrong, it may not affect you today, but the cumulative, that's a word there, the cumulative effect is going to impact you. And that's where we are now. You know, so many things have gone awry in our government, in our school system, in our local politics, you know, and then you fast forward that 15, 20 years, we got a big mess on our hands. But it's all because people won't speak up. Yeah, and maybe there's a lack of encouragement to spur those people that have the authority to say something. But they scared. They won't say nothing. They don't want to rock the boat. They don't lose their money. And I understand that. But if you are holding office, you got a responsibility to do what is right. And sometimes it takes people like you and me to encourage them, you know, influence them or whatever you want to call it on what is right. Like, brother, I know this going to be a hard decision for you, but this is what you signed up for. If you don't speak for us, who's going to speak for us? Same thing on your job. You the manager, but you don't want to rock the boat. But you know what's right and what's wrong. You got to speak up and say something. And sometimes we as the Indians have to speak up and say something to the chief. Like, chief, what we doing? This what we doing, chief? You know this ain't right. Yeah, you right. Okay, well, if you know it's right, well, what you gonna say? You know what I'm saying? Say something. You know, you may not say it in front of us. You know, you may have to call a meeting and voice our grievance. Don't tell no lie. If you're gonna do it, do what you're gonna do. Did I just use the word grievance? I talked about that in one of our other videos where I said, if somebody used the word grievance, you know they from the old school, or they've been using their Bible, or they got an old soul. And I be doggone if I did not just use the word grievance in my communication. Boy, that was a moment for me right there. And I'm like, boy, you can get such satisfaction out of the most simplest things. I'm not lying. And I know you guys probably look at me and be like, man, you tripping. But life is good, man. You can get so much joy and so much fulfillment out of the smallest things. And in my estimation, there's no reason for anybody to be walking around depressed or at their lowest point, or anything like that. Because if we believe, you know, and if we're checking on those that we love, if we are speaking up for those that we come across that need a word, it'll bring joy to your life. I'm just telling you, when you encourage somebody, it's not only for them, it's also for you. Because it makes you feel good on the inside that you did something good, that you followed the Lord's word, that you might have a impact that puts someone else's life on a whole nother trajectory. Why was that a word? Let me go back to it. Put somebody else's life on a whole other trajectory. And I said the word right both times. Sometimes you get you'll jumble a tear word up, you know what I mean? But it came out right that time. But in any case, man, you know, let's embrace encouragement. And again, this video is in conjunction with all the other videos that I've done. I've tried to create a theme here. Again, we started off with partnership and companionship and the bucket list, and then we went into friendship, and now we're talking about encouragement. But all of this is part of the same process, doing what is good, what is right, and what is decent, and what is expected of us as Christians. I sure appreciate y'all walking with me today. Won't he do it? God bless him. And yes, he will.